What made EVGA so special, and why did their exit hit so hard? Which lesser-known brands can rival the giants? And which GPU might finally get you a waifu? EVGA, the brand that left the throne empty, still haunts GPU discussions to this day. Their exit in late 2022 wasn't just a business decision. It marked the end of one of the most consumer-friendly eras in PC hardware. EVGA treated support almost like a feature. You could repaste your card or install a water block without voiding the warranty, something most brands still don't allow. And then there was the Step-Up program, letting you upgrade to a newer GPU within 90 days by simply paying the difference. It made buying a high-end card feel safe. On the hardware side, the FTW3 series was all about functional design. The ICX system used multiple sensors across the PCB to eliminate thermal dead zones, giving you a much more accurate picture of how the card was behaving. You even had real-time indicators on the edge of the card showing GPU, power, and memory load. And for the true enthusiasts, there was the Kingpin line, built with Vince Lucido. These weren't just GPUs, they were tools for breaking world records, with massively overbuilt power delivery and cooling designed for extreme overclocking. They even had a fully working RTX 4090 prototype before leaving the market. One of the few working units was later auctioned off for $16,000, with all proceeds donated to charity. Today, EVGA cards aren't just hardware, they've become collector's items. Still some of the most sought-after models on the used market. Not just because of performance, but because of what the brand represented. A company built by engineers, for engineers, that chose to walk away at its peak. Inno3D. If you prefer an industrial, almost brutalist aesthetic over flashy RGB, Inno3D is usually the quiet overachiever. Based in Hong Kong, they're best known for their iChill series, which often looks like something pulled straight out of a high-end server rack. They've built a reputation around their Hercules cooling designs, thick heat sinks, dense fin stacks, and in some cases, even additional fans to help manage hotspots across the card. It's a brand that appeals to people who want their PC to feel like a piece of machinery rather than a light show. In practice, their cards are often priced slightly below the big three, while still offering solid cooling performance, especially in their higher-end models. You'll see them quite often in European and Asian builds, particularly in setups where long, sustained workloads matter more than branding or aesthetics. Acer. It's rare to see a laptop giant successfully pivot into desktop GPUs, but Acer has carved out a niche by leaning heavily into the Intel Arc ecosystem. Their Predator Bifrost cards are some of the most unusual-looking GPUs on the market right now. They use a hybrid cooling setup that combines a blower-style fan with a traditional axial fan, a design that looks unconventional but actually works surprisingly well for mid-range chips and more compact builds. What started as a curiosity has turned into a solid option for anyone exploring Intel's lineup. Acer isn't trying to outmuscle the biggest brands. They're building around a distinct design and a familiar Predator identity. It's a pragmatic entry into the space that shows you don't necessarily need years in the GPU market to make something that performs reliably, especially if you understand your niche. Yeston. Breaking every rule of gamer aesthetics, Yeston is the brand that proved there is a massive market for hardware that doesn't look like a stealth bomber. They are easily the most recognizable name in the waifu aesthetic space, featuring pastel purples, soft pinks, and literal anime mascots on their shrouds. Their Sakura and Pet series cards are often the go-to choice for anyone building a fully coordinated, cute PC. But it's not just about the visuals. Some models even shipped with a subtle floral scent out of the box. While it sounds like a gimmick, Yeston's cooling performance is surprisingly solid, with designs that can compete with much more traditional brands. They've gone from a niche import to a recognizable choice for builders who want their setup to reflect a specific personality rather than just raw specs. AX Gaming. If Yeston is too loud for your taste, but you still want that clean, aesthetic vibe, AX Gaming is a brand worth looking at. Often associated with Inno3D's manufacturing ecosystem, AX Gaming focuses heavily on the white knight look. Cards with pure white shrouds, white backplates, and very minimal, tasteful lighting. They've become a popular pick for the clean desk setups you see on Instagram and Pinterest. Unlike some brands that simply repaint existing designs, AX Gaming leans more consistently into that bright, minimal aesthetic. You'll mostly see them in mid-range builds where the goal isn't just performance, but a cohesive, high-end look. It's a niche, but one they fill really well. Manli. Manli is perhaps one of the more utilitarian brands in the bunch, often producing cards that look like they belong in a military bunker. Their Gallardo series is known for including built-in spirit levels, actual liquid-filled indicators, on the side of the GPU. It's a simple, low-tech way to deal with GPU sag, letting you quickly see if your card is sitting level. They tend to focus on thick metal frames and straightforward cooling, prioritizing durability over flash. More recently, Manli has experimented with more playful, anime-inspired designs, though these versions can feel less premium in terms of materials compared to their more industrial models. Maxsun. Maxsun is one of the more experimental players coming out of the Chinese market. Their approach is very much more is more. The MGG, or Mega Gaming series, often includes additional small fans along the top edge to help move heat away from the backplate. They also lean heavily into high-diffusion ARGB panels, giving the entire side of the card a soft, uniform glow rather than sharp LED points. While they're best known for NVIDIA-based cards, they've also been active on the Intel side. Their iCraft series is especially recognizable for its anime-themed designs. It's a very specific aesthetic. Some people love it, others not so much. Maxsun is clearly leaning into the lifestyle side of PC hardware, even expanding that style into motherboards. But that's a rabbit hole for another video. Sparkle. Sparkle is one of the more interesting comeback stories in the industry. After being largely absent for years, they returned as a key launch partner for Intel's Arc series. Their identity is now closely tied to that distinct Intel Blue aesthetic. Their Titan and Orc series cards lean into a clean, professional design language, often using metal shrouds instead of flashy plastics. One subtle detail is their thermal sync LED. The logo changes color depending on GPU temperature, giving you a quick visual cue under load. Because they're relatively new to the current market cycle, some people still see Sparkle as a budget brand. In reality, they're aiming more toward the mid-range, focusing on solid build quality and consistent thermals rather than aggressive styling. Gunnir. If Sparkle is the professional face of Intel, Gunnir is the more stylish, experimental one. As one of the main launch partners for Intel in Asia, their Photon and Flux series helped define the look of Arc cards early on. They favor sharp, rectangular designs with high-contrast patterns on the backplates. In terms of positioning, Gunnir plays a role similar to Sapphire in the AMD ecosystem, a focused partner that puts most of its effort into a single platform. Their cards often push higher power limits and more aggressive tuning, which makes them especially interesting for enthusiasts who like to experiment with Intel Arc and see how far these GPUs can go in benchmarks like 3D Mark. Leadtek. While they aren't the most talked about brand in gaming forums, they have a strong presence in the professional and workstation space with their WinFast series. Their design philosophy is simple: zero distractions. You won't find LCD screens or rainbow lighting here. Leadtek cards tend to stick to more compact, practical designs, often within 2 or 3 slots, which makes them a good fit for dense workstations or multi-GPU setups. This is the kind of hardware you choose when you're building a machine for work first and gaming second. Because their designs stay very close to NVIDIA's reference approach, their cards usually lean towards stability and consistency rather than aggressive factory overclocks. The focus here isn't squeezing out every last frame, it's long-term reliability. Onix. One of the lesser-known names you might come across, Onix focuses primarily on Intel Arc GPUs, rather than competing across every platform. Their Lumi series is probably the closest thing they have to a clear identity. Clean designs, usually with dual-fan cooling, soft RGB accents, and a more modern look compared to typical no-name cards. For a budget build, it can make sense. But this is still a brand where you're trading some long-term confidence for a lower price, so it's worth checking specific models and reviews before buying. Peladn. The wild card of the group, Peladn has gained attention through AliExpress and global budget markets. They are known for bold, colorful designs, like their Armor series with vibrant oranges and hot pinks. In the past, brands in this space had a reputation for cutting corners or using questionable components. Peladn has been pushing to move away from that image, offering new hardware at extremely aggressive prices by stripping things down to the essentials. That said, this is still very much a know what you're buying category. You're trading brand reputation, support, and consistency for price. For the right buyer, it can be a great deal, but it's definitely a high-risk, high-reward choice for an adventurous build. Let me know in the comments if you want a deeper breakdown of a specific brand and its models. Drop a like if this helped, and subscribe for more clear hardware guides.